Hello and welcome to Fireside Chats at the Influencer Series conducted by the Alchemist Accelerator. These are timely chats with tech leaders about what's on their mind. Let's get into it. Laurent, it's great to have you here at the Influencer Series. I, of course, know Laurent as the Director of Global Market Entry for Alchemist. Laurent is part of the Alchemist X team, which is the team that focuses on government and corporate services and innovation. And we're also having here Laurent as one of the leaders speaking about trends in AI. So I'm curious, Laurent, was there a headline topic that you wanted to discuss or that you were going to discuss today at the event?
I think one of the most fun things that happened over the last couple of years was we saw the NFT blockchain was dominating a lot of the decks. And then about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, I started seeing some of the same exact decks where it was find, replace, AI, ML for NFT blockchain. Yeah. And that was really hilarious because we really saw that trend start to pick up and people scrambling to get on the wave. And over the last year, I would say 90% of all of our startups have some AI component. It's really interesting to see that right now. And I look at from ourselves and I kept asking the question, well, how are we going to get on this? Uh-huh. And as our own teams started to really encourage our own team members to start using the resources that they have, Perplexity, ChatGPT, use it to edit your own work, use it to generate good work, not drivel, but good work. Yeah. How the nature of work started to change. And that's been a really fascinating area, I think, just internally within running Accelerator, within running acceleration program, market entry programs, that we've seen a big change.
And are there any insights on, it's almost like thinking about an accelerator co-pilot. I don't know if that's the analogy, or maybe it's an agent of some sort, like a mentor agent. Are there any motifs or metaphors that, or any guiding insights that you can share about how you're thinking or what we've learned about using AI to transform how the accelerator experience could work?
Data. What's the data that we're capturing? Yeah. How do we capture and structure that data in a way that we can start getting both horizontal and vertical insights out of it? And then to whom are those insights valuable? And what sort of value do those insights have for the different stakeholders, both internal stakeholders, our team members, and so on, and external stakeholders, our LPs, our clients, and our startups.
And are there any AI tools right now that you found to be the most impactful that you're using or that you would like to encourage more use of for entrepreneurs' development?
For entrepreneurs' development, I don't think there's anything that pops to mind of saying, oh, this is really great for entrepreneurial education or development. Part of it is actually just on marketing front. Yeah. That entrepreneurs really need to start looking at outreach automation. Yeah. And starting to change that narrative. And that's very, very quickly changing territories. Yeah. So we're seeing the evolution being so quick right now that the entrepreneurs that are being able to stay ahead and are getting their pipelines really full and top of funnel, those are the ones that are starting to get a lot of success. But a lot of that's about testing value propositions. But the way that we do it has changed.
And Laurent, just so if people don't know, you lead global market entry where you really focus on especially international founders that are trying to get inroads into the U.S. Is that right?
Absolutely.
And are you bullish on international founders as prospects for venture-backed opportunities in the U.S.?
100%. Okay. I think irregardless on market entry is a very specific area. When we're looking at pre-seed, like Alchemist core business, we're already at 30%, 40% international founders.
Yeah. And that's probably, And so I'm sort of speaking to the choir a little bit about this, but I don't know if there's any insights to share. Like certainly like Endeavor, I know, did the study on the top unicorns in the US, 60% of them have an international founder on the team. And so even within the U.S., that's highly correlated.
It's highly correlated.
Yeah.
The thing that's most correlated to me is actually when we look and we say, do we have teams that are actually diverse?
Yeah.
Right. We have teams that can look on a global scale and truly on a global scale. And when the team actually has a real diversity to it, we see its ability to look at how do I access a global market increases dramatically, to look outside of the comfort zone of one individual or one culture, and to start really looking towards more global market. And we're seeing this with later stage startups that have much more diverse leadership teams in particular.
And are there any when you talk about diversity, is that gender? Is that nationalities? Is that something else? Is that thinking modalities? Are there any unintuitive insights on thinking about diversity that's correlated with success?
What I'm seeing is there's one area here that I see is it depends. Mm-hmm. You can have a group that looks like the United Colors of Benetton, but if they all graduated from Stanford and they all took the same coursework, that
they're fantastic.
They're fantastic.
And we love them.
But
yes, sorry. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And that limits the actual diversity that we have.
Yeah.
Same as the more that you have ethnically or gender kind of restricted groups, the more that's going to actually limit that ability. It's something that I see again and again, and I've seen 3-4 good examples of it just this fall of my top performing teams in terms of number of POCs closed, number of customer discovery interviews, ability to generate top of funnel, ability to bring people into webinars and other type of marketing activities that are showing their ability to pull or get the market to pull them. We're seeing that ability increase with the increased diversity.
With the increased diversity. And I'd love to double click on that and go deeper. So you see, because you have this very specific focus, which is on international founders going after U.S. markets. And you see the ones that take off and the ones that don't. What separates the great founders that succeed from the good founders that don't take off, especially if there's anything that separates them in an unintuitive way that people would be surprised by?
It's almost cliche, but it's the ability to really leap out of their comfort zone.
Okay.
When coming into a new market, you need to relearn things, and you're starting back from product market fit. Again, just because you had product market fit in your home country does not mean you're going to necessarily have it here. Your business model may need a change. Your product itself may need a change. The easy route is to say, I'm going to keep my product equal and I'm going to bounce around hoping to find PMF.
Yeah.
The hard route is to really challenge oneself.
Yeah.
And the scary thing is go out and talk to customers who don't speak your native language, who don't share your native culture, who are going to be probably are going to reject a lot of what you're initially saying at your product, and take that in and then transform it into something that is applicable. And how do you translate the success that you may have had at home into success in another market? And there's a bunch of different ways of thinking about it. When we're like very, very vertical, that's easier. When we're broader or more horizontal, I think it's much more difficult.
And on the AI front, are there certain? And I know we were going down this thread earlier with thinking about the outbound automation. Are there certain AI tools or applications that are correlated with success for international founders?
It's too soon to tell.
Okay.
What I am seeing is people doing really interesting things where I'm seeing flawless pronunciation and pitches of founders that have heavy accents, but all of a sudden on their pitches, they have absolutely wonderful, perfect sounding American accents. And I've started seeing this just recently. It's amazing.
And what are they using to get to that outcome?
Some are actually writing some of their own models, so they're coming out of open source models that they're doing that. Some are using Synesthesia, which is a service that's been available for a couple of years on that. And then Clink or Cleon, which is a Korean company that's doing both deep fakes, but also
That'll help.
translations, real-time translation for video.
And on the outbound automation, are there tools that people are using to excel there?
We're seeing such a quick change right now. So
Yeah.
right now, Clay's been the hot thing
Yeah.
that people are really getting into. We see people writing their own little scripts and piecing things together that
Yeah.
are pretty interesting. It's been, I think this is as the market gets used to it, picks up as something as being AI, rejects it, and then something gets slightly better. So people are constantly playing catch up. And a lot of these are native tools, like the native AI within Notion, the native AI within HubSpot right now are getting used quite heavily.
And if you fast forward 5 years, do you think the innovation market for international entrepreneurs will be still Silicon Valley? Do you think Silicon Valley gets stronger as a magnet for international founders, or do you think it becomes more distributed?
It's interesting. I think that Silicon Valley is going to remain a very strong pull.
Okay.
And we had our doubts about this maybe about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Silicon Valley's over, all these new hubs are rising. But when we look at absolute numbers in terms of funding, in terms of the community, how quickly things happen, there's no doubt that we're outperforming other markets. Another big area that I think is a constant question is how much government intervention actually contributes versus hinders ecosystems. Mm-hmm. And that's a very difficult question to answer, because here we have some programs, SBIR, we have DARPA, ARPA, there's a little bit of an alphabet soup, but it's much, much more limited how much the government money comes in as part of LP money and to VC funds. And that's definitely not the case within either East Asian ecosystems and European ecosystems as a whole. So the funding gap that they're experiencing between a lot of times seed to Series A to Series B, depending on the market and what the definitions are much, much bigger funding gaps that we're finding in those other markets than we find in the States.
Yes.
And the common market in the States is truly a common market, whereas the European common market has proven to actually be quite regional.
Yep.
And hasn't provided the sheer number that allows for the rapid growth to reach venture-backable businesses.
Okay. So we're bullish then on Silicon Valley still.
I'm bullish on Silicon Valley.
Even though you're a man of the world, we're still bullish on Silicon Valley. We're ending these things oftentimes, because we're coming up on time, on just a 6-word takeaway of advice for an aspiring entrepreneur, especially one that's going into AI. But I don't know, but it can be just general, any 6-word piece of advice that you would want to give an entrepreneur that's thinking about jumping into the adventure of a startup.
Talk to your customer.
Yeah.
All day long.
That is so critical. Yeah. Just be wedded to the customer and the mission, not to the product.
Yes. That's one of the biggest things that I see is that founders that are able to be an expert in their domain, so customers want to talk to them all day long, and that go through the work of doing that, they're seeing where the market pulls. They're understanding that, and they're able to catch the wave rather than just keep paddling and the waves pass them by one after another.
Awesome. Thank you, Laurent. And that's our show. Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for more discussions as well. You can also check out our website, alchemistaccelerator.com, to learn more about the Alchemist Startup Accelerator program and to get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.